Hello and welcome back to the Moebius Chronicles. Today we are reviewing the latest release from Moebius Production, Lézards Rêveurs, a collection of sketches sourced from two of Moebius' personal notebooks created between 1996 and 99. Parts of which were actually shown to the public twice before at the Montréal exhibition from 1999 and at the Highlights exhibition in Seoul from 2017. Both organized by the Cartier Foundation, which is also the owner of these notebooks. A detail that is quite important here because it connects to the only issue I have with this book. But I will get to it a bit later on in the video. The book is quite compact. It is identical in size to some of the notebooks which were published in the recent years, such as the Laszlo Parker and the Fauna of Mars, and even 40 Days in Desert B. It sports some solid binding. It is 244 pages and a nice matte paper with a good thickness, which is single side printed. Both to match the original notebooks, I presume, and also to avoid any ghosting, which is when the print from the back side of the page shows through to the front. The notebook comes as a limited edition of 3,000 copies and includes even a little ex libris. You have it right here. It's nothing special, to be fair. The paper is quite thin and it reproduces a page which is also found inside. Right off the bat, we are met with the classic playfulness of Moebius, starting from the title itself, which holds a double meaning. Lézards Rêveurs, of course, means dreaming lizards, but lizards also has the same pronunciation as the arts, lézards. So if on one hand we have the dreaming lizards, on the other we have the dreaming arts, and all of the ideas that they can inspire. Isabelle Giraud, Moebius' widow, actually hints in her opening of the book that we, the readers, are like lizards perched on the burning rocks of the ubiquitous Moebius desert, where the dreaming arts are calling to us. And if you want to see another fun double meaning at play, do check out my 40 Days in Desert B review, where I talk about the title and how it connects to Moebius' weed addiction. Pretty fun play on words there too. But back to this book. For Moebius, having a notebook always in his pocket was a habit, and we know this because of the already many notebooks which have been published in full or partially revealed during the years in several art books. From the rare notebooks of the 80s and 90s, one of which I actually already shown in a previous video, to the more modern ones recently published. Even the Major, which has been recently translated by Dark Horse and printed at 4 times the scale, was just a small notebook in its original format. He would often take these journals on his travels to Rome, Naples, Moscow, Paris, Los Angeles, Boston, Mexico City, New York, and pour in them whatever the moment would inspire in him. As he said, he would mostly sketch without any kind of preconceived ideas, emptying his mind to let the drawings emerge automatically, like flipping a switch. A method which he sometimes called telephone doodles. In some cases, he used these to plant the seeds for future stories, such as the first 10 pages of Les Chasseurs Déprime, one of the highlights of this book in my opinion. Sketches that he then forgot at the bottom of a drawer, only to rediscover them years later, and to then complete the story, making it the 3rd book in the Major Gruber series, which of course started with the Airtight Garage. A fantastic but less known book, which unfortunately has never been translated to English. So Dark Horse Publishing, or anyone else, if you're listening, we need this in English, yeah? Anyways, there is a lot of great stuff in this book. It is a pleasure to look at, but there is a but. There are two main issues here. The first is that I am a nitpicky bastard. And the second is that there is a problem with the definition of the images. I noticed this pretty quickly, and sadly the print is just not as sharp as it should be. I think that for many this will not be an issue, and it does not take anything away from the beauty of this notebook, but I do have to point it out. And for the record, I am not the only one who has complained about this. I've seen this come up on forums, on Facebook, on Instagram, etc. The line work just comes across as fuzzy and undefined. And if you compare it to other books from the same publisher, you really see the difference. My initial thought was that either the scans were poor or that something went wrong during the prepping before print. And for the record, I have been a graphic designer for 20 years, so I am familiar with the processes and I know how the end result should look like, and it is not this. Anyway, I put my Sherlock hat on and reached out to Moebius Production for comment, who kindly replied and admitted that the files used were provided by a third party and that were not of the best quality. They also added that they saw this problem once the book was printed and could not go back. But if there will be another run in the future, they will try to improve it. Since the notebooks are owned by the Cartier Foundation, we all know who the third party is. And someone did confirm that indeed these were their scans, and that they were done in the late 90s, and that they would not do them again for the publication of this book. So the old scans kind of take Moebius Production off the hook here, but when you print a book, you don't just print 3,000 copies without doing trials and tests before. So this problem should have been caught early on in the process and somewhat addressed. Also, even with bad scans, nowadays there is a lot that can be fixed in post-production to increase definition, remove artifacts, etc. But it is what it is, and this is the book we got today. So, does this make the book look bad? Not at all. The book is still a must-have for fans in my opinion. It is a pleasure to shuffle through these pages, and the definition of the images does not make it a deal breaker. I am sure that many buyers won't mind or notice. It's a bit disappointing, I think, when you print an art book because you need to make sure that the art is on point, or you do your best to achieve the maximum results with what you have. Still, I really love this notebook. The art is exquisite, and as usual, it is a pleasure to just see the variety and multitude of all of these ideas that transport us directly into another realm, offering a more intimate access to Moebius' inner world and experience. So that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it and on the definition issues I mentioned before, if you saw anything. Please like, share for the algorithm, and subscribe so that you get notified next time a video drops. In the meanwhile, have a good one and catch you next time. Bye.